XAI just dropped their newest video generation model, Grok Imagine 1.0, and let me tell you, Sora has competition. Real competition. Videos generated in seconds, native audio sync, which no one else does, and it's significantly cheaper than Sora. Today I'm going to show you exactly what Grok Imagine can do, give you an honest comparison to Sora, and build an end-to-end workflow that helps you create videos just like this. This AI space is getting insane. All those videos were a simple prompt. They were all generated in under 30 seconds, and they honestly sound really, really good. Now let's hop into a quick overview of Grok Imagine 1.0 and what really stood out to me. Grok Imagine 1.0 was just introduced recently on February 1st of 2026. It's XAI's newest video generation model. It unlocks 10-second videos, 720p resolution, and they claim dramatically improved audio, which from my testing, I completely agree with. And also, I believe that Grok Imagine 1.0 will be competing directly with Sora and giving it a run for its money. Now you might be asking, Casper, what makes Grok different than Sora? And there's three things that stood out to me when I was making this video and testing out these models. Number one is speed. Grok Imagine has the fastest video generation that I've tested to date. It takes seconds to create videos with audio, not minutes. And that's the second part, is native audio sync. No one else does this natively. There's no video generation app that natively syncs music or audio to your videos. Like rain sounds, waves, fire cracking, all that stuff can be put into your prompt and it'll be generated using Grok. And then finally is pricing. Grok is significantly cheaper, up to 70 to 80% cheaper. And I just did a quick test for the minute, right? I made a minute-long video with Grok, pairing some clips together, and it cost me about $4 to make. And then I did one with Sora, and I was in between that $6 to $30 a minute range, which was pretty frustrating. So these are the three things that stood out to me. But now, before we compare the statistics between the two, I want to show you the power of Grok using an N8N workflow that I built out to help us create these types of videos. Let's hop into N8N. Here we are in our N8N instance, and this is the workflow that we're going to be using to turn our thoughts into videos using Grok. So all we're going to do is go into our Google Sheet here. We're going to enter in an idea, set the status to create, and then we're going to go ahead and execute our workflow. So our idea today is going to be a guy walking with a monkey down the street having a conversation. We'll go ahead and click on create. We'll go back to our workflow and we'll hit execute. So now our workflow is starting. We're going to create a prompt that we're going to put into Grok's API, and then we're going to create that video. We're going to do a quick polling request to make sure that the video actually gets completed. We'll download that video, save it to our Google Drive, and update our Google Sheet with the URL of the video. So once this workflow is done, I'll get back to you guys and we'll go over the results. All right, so the workflow completed. Let's go to our Google Sheet, click on the link, and see what it came up with.
What a day, huh? Let's get some fruit.
I mean, let's go get some fruit, right? No, I'm just kidding. But that's hilarious. I can't believe he's actually walking him with a leash. I thought they'd be walking together. But you can hear the sounds in the background. You can hear that they had a conversation, and that's just from one prompt. And that was only a 5-second video. We could make it a 15-second video because now I want to see what happens next. But anyways, we also want to be able to download these videos, so we save them into a Google Drive to allow us to download them and use them in our videos, or use them to send to our friends, or whatever the use case may be. If you're looking to start learning how to build automations like this, or just learn about AI automation in general, or even start a business with AI, I highly recommend joining my friend Nate's school community, AI Automation Society Plus. You'll join over 3,500 members, actively building with N8N and making money with it. You'll get access to courses ranging from beginning areas to vibe coding to learning how to run your own AI automation agency. And you'll get 24/7 community support to always help you answer your questions. And that's honestly my favorite part. Use the link in my description to join today, and I hope to see you guys in there soon. Now that we've seen the power of Grok when it's partnered up with N8N, let's go ahead and compare Grok versus Sora to help you determine which video generation model you should use and why. The specs that we're going to be comparing the two off of are generation speed, max resolution, max duration, native audio, API access, API pricing, and whether or not you need to have a subscription. So if we're looking at Grok here, generation speed is seconds, so it gets a win there. Max resolution is a little bit less than Sora 2, so Sora 2 can get up to 1080p, but with Grok Imagine, you can only get to 720p. Max duration is 15 seconds, whereas Sora has up to 20 to 25 seconds. But what I will say is that these 15-second videos get made so quickly as opposed to these Sora videos. Some of these Sora videos take so long to generate, and it's honestly just, they're good videos, but it feels like a waste of time compared to what Grok can give you in such a shorter amount of time. The native audio, this is synchronized in Grok Imagine. You guys saw it. No other model has this, so this is a huge advantage in this model. API access, both of them have API access available now. API pricing, Grok Imagine, as we talked about earlier, significantly cheaper than Sora 2. And then Grok Imagine doesn't actually have a subscription. It's a pay-per-use model, whereas Sora 2 is connected to OpenAI, so you'll need either the $20 plus or $200 Pro model to use it. So ultimately, my verdict, and this depends on your use case, right? But I'm choosing Grok. I'm going Grok with my video generation. You guys might see in the future some B-roll footage. Just know that I'm probably using Grok to create that. I'll have to test Sora a little bit more, but I'm determining it now. Grok is taking over Sora. We'll see how Sora comes back, but I'm excited to see the improvement of these video generation models because they're starting to get hard to tell. But the future is bright and I'm really excited to talk about it. Now let's get to why most of you are probably here. Let's actually build this workflow out node by node. I'm going to walk through every single node and you guys will be able to use this for yourselves by the end of this video. Let's hop into it. All right, so as we get started, the first thing we need to do is make sure our Google Sheet is set up correctly. 3 columns, idea, status, video URL. We'll put in our ideas here. We'll change the status to created and then the automation will change it to processing and then done. And once the automation is done, we'll get a video URL right here. That being said, now that we have that figured out, our first node is our trigger node, which is going to be a Google Sheets trigger and it's going to be on row updated. Right away, we're going to go ahead and name our actual node and it's going to be from our resource document here. Remember, the resource document I provide is completely free. It's in the link in the description and you can use it along with this video, or if you don't want to watch the rest of this video, you can just go follow that and you'll be able to build the workflow yourself. But we're going to go ahead and name this create video. We're going to make sure our credential is the correct one. Every minute as the mode. For the document, we're going to go ahead and select our video ideas document and the only sheet that exists. We're going to trigger on row updated, new version, and then we are going to add an option that is columns to watch, which is our status column. So once we're done that, we can go back here. We'll remove this. And we could just change this back to create video. A guy walking down the beach on a sunny day is our idea. And we're going to go ahead and fetch the test event. Now that we got that event back, we see that we have our idea, status, and video URL. So now we can go ahead and we'll pin this data and we'll go on to the next node, which is an if node. And this if node is to handle all the videos that don't need to be reprocessed. So we're going to make sure that the status of the video, so json.status, is equal to create video. And this is specifically to avoid reprocessing videos that have already been created or are currently processing. So if the status is anything but create a video, the workflow will end right there and not process those items. But if it's create video, we're going to push it on to the rest of the workflow. Once we do that, we're going to go back to our resource document here, grab the title of our node, make sure we label it, and then we're going to go ahead and click execute step. And then we should see our data go through the true branch. Now we actually need to update our Google Sheet. So we're going to go ahead and grab another Google Sheet node. This one, we're going to update row and sheet. We're going to quickly name our node off the rip so we don't forget to do it later. We'll name it. We're going to select the correct credential. Sheet within the document. Update row is the operation. The document will be our video ideas document and the only sheet that exists in there. We're going to map each column manually. So we're going to select the idea column to match on. And then we're just going to grab the idea from the input and drag it into here. So now that every time this workflow starts, it'll match this exact idea so we know we have the right row. We'll delete the video URL here, and then for status, we will put processing. And then once that is done, let me just change this really quickly back to create video. Once we click on execute step, we'll get the data back and it says idea is the same idea that we want. And then now the status is processing. So if we go back to our sheet, it has now been updated to processing and we are good to go into the next node, which is actually creating our prompt and feeding that into the Grok API. For that, we're going to grab a basic LLM chain node. We're going to name it prompt generator. I need it to be a capital G or I'm going to freak out. Anyways, we're going to change the source for prompt to define below. We're going to flip it to expression and then we're going to paste in this prompt. Super simple. You don't even need to paste it in if you don't want to, but it's create footage prompt for JSON idea, which we're grabbing from this input right here. We're then going to add a prompt that's going to be our system prompt. We'll open up this window, go back to our resource document, and then copy and paste over this prompt, which is just gives it a simple role, rules, what format we want, and then some examples to make sure that it's giving the output that we want, right? So then we're going to just connect our chat model. So we're going to be using Open Router for this, and we're going to connect our Sonnet 3.7 model. And then once we got that, we'll go back to our prompt generator, execute the step and see what kind of prompt we get. This is the prompt that we got back. A man walking barefoot along the shoreline where waves gently lap the sand, soft golden sunlight illuminating his path, steady forward movement with occasional glances toward the horizon. This should be an interesting one. So let's get into now actually generating the video with a Grok HTTP request. Grabbing an HTTP request node here, we're going to name it right away, and it's going to be named generate video Grok Imagine. We'll go ahead and name that. We're going to set the method to post. We're going to grab this URL, this endpoint URL from our resource document so we could actually trigger the API. Authentication is going to be a generic credential type. We're going to select header auth. I already have one set up for X's API, but all you need to do if you don't have one set up is create a new credential, name it whatever you want. I'll just name it X API. For our name, you're going to put in authorization. For the value, you're going to delete all this, type in bearer with a capital B and press space. And then you're going to go to your X developer console where you're just going to set up an account. And once you put in your email, set that account up, an app is going to be created for you and you'll be provided an API key. If you've already done so, all you need to go do is go to apps and either create a new app or click on your existing app and regenerate the API key and then copy and paste that right here after you've typed in bearer space. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and click save and you'll be connected. But since we already did that, we'll just leave it as it is and continue setting this node up. So then we're going to go ahead and click on send headers. And for the name, we're going to do content dash type. And for the value, it's going to be application slash JSON. Once we set that up, we're also going to send a body over. The body content is going to be JSON. We are going to be using JSON for this. And then we're going to copy and paste over this expression. We can switch that, open this up, copy and paste this over. And what's happening here is we're injecting the prompt into Grok Imagine. We're selecting the model, the duration of the video. And I know it's 5 seconds right now, but I want to go 10 seconds. And we're going to make the aspect ratio 16:9 and the resolution 720p. So right there, once we click on execute step, our video will now start generating. We get a request ID, and now we're going to actually set up the polling system to make sure that our video gets generated before we send it out through the rest of the workflow. To set up this polling sequence, we're going to start off with a wait node, and we're going to set this to 10 seconds. You can set this to whatever you want. I just prefer 10 seconds. We're going to go ahead and click on execute step. And while we're waiting there, we're going to set up our next HTTP request node, which is actually getting the video URL and checking the status of it. We're going to click on HTTP request. We're going to name it check video status. We're going to use a get method for the URL. We are going to copy and paste from our resource document this endpoint, and then we need to make sure that we drag over the request ID from our Grok Imagine or generate video Grok Imagine node. We'll paste that in there. Just make sure every time this happens, there always is a space. Make sure you delete that space so it's flush. We're going to use the same authentication as we did previously. So we'll click on generic credential type, header auth, and our X API key that you've already set up. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and click on execute step, and we will get this output telling us that our video is done. The duration of it is 10 seconds, and we actually have data here. So the next thing we're going to set up is to check if data actually got back to us by using another if node. The purpose of this if node is to check if the API input contains a URL. If it does contain a URL, we're going to send it up the true branch. If it does not, we're going to send it to the false branch, which then sends it back to the wait node to poll again for a verified URL. So how we're going to set this up is we're going to name our node first. We'll grab that from our resource document. We'll name this node is video ready. And then for the value one, we're just going to drag in our URL. So it'll be json.video URL. And it's not going to be is equal to. We're going to go to string here and select is not empty. And then we're going to go ahead and click on execute step, and it should go up the true branch, which it does. Now we're going to work on the false branch. We just need to add one node to set some data before we send it back to the wait node and continue the rest of the workflow. So let's go ahead and set that up really quick. All we're doing here is using a set node to actually pass through the job ID for the wait node so that we could check the video status and actually have a request ID available. So all we're going to do here is click on a set node. We are going to name it pass job ID. And then to set this up, we're not going to do manual mapping. We're actually just going to do JSON. And then we're going to go to expression. We'll open this up, delete everything, type into these brackets, and then just do $JSON. So now that we have that set up, everything is good. At the end of this, we'll do a polling entire iteration of the workflow so you guys can see what's happening when it's polling, and like I can show you all the output and go from there. But since we have that set up, all we need to do now is connect this back to the wait node, and now we'll go on to the rest of the workflow. We got 3 nodes left. The next one will be actually downloading the video from Grok In order to get our video from Grok, you guessed it, we're going to need to use another HTTP request node, and this one will be the most simple one to set up. We're going to use a GET request, and we are just going to drag in the json.video URL, and the only thing that we need to change is the response. We want the response to be a file, and for that file output to be data. So once that's set up, all we need to do for sure is name our node. This one will be download video, and then we're going to go ahead and click on execute step. Once that step's been complete, we'll get our data with our file name, our URL, and everything that we need to be able to save this into a Google Drive folder and finally update our Google Sheet. Now that our Grok video has been downloaded, we just need to upload it to our Google Drive. So we're going to grab a Google Drive node, upload a file. We're going to name this file Save to Google Drive. And then we're going to select the correct credential, file as the resource, upload. The input data field name will be data, which is why earlier we set it to data as the output field. The file name, I'm just going to keep it simple. We'll go back to our schema, close this down, go to create video and just name it after our video and put .mp4 after it. The parent drive will be my drive. The folder will be our Grok videos folder. And once we do that, we'll go ahead and click on execute step and it'll download to our folder, which we'll go ahead and hop in there right now. And there we see it, a guy walking down the beach on a sunny day, .mp4. We're all good to go there. We know it worked. And now the final step is just uploading that into our Google Sheet and adding the URL and changing the status to done. So let's go ahead and dive into that. For our final node of the workflow, we're going to go ahead and grab another Google Sheets node, update row and sheet. We're going to go ahead and name this one set status equals done and add the video URL. We're going to select the correct credential, sheet within a document. You guys know the deal. We're going to go to video ideas, select sheet 1. We're going to map each column manually once again on the idea. So we'll go all the way back to our create video node. We'll drag the idea here. The status will now be done. And then we're going to go to our download video and grab the URL from there. And once we got that, we can go ahead, click on execute step. We'll update our workflow or we'll update our Google Sheet. We'll go back to it. Now we see that the status is done and the video URL is here and I'm excited to check it out. So let's go see what that sounds like. Yeah, I don't know if I needed to make that 10 seconds, but I was kind of moved by that. Let me know what you guys thought. But that's it. So now we got the entire workflow from start to finish. What we're going to do now is we're going to run through it completely. I'm going to show you guys the polling system and how that works and then send you guys off. All right, now that we have this all set up, let's actually run through a quick demo of this and then I'll walk you guys through the polling section just so we don't miss out on that and you guys know exactly what's going on. So we're going to hop into our video ideas. We're going to just put cars racing down a busy street. We'll go ahead, click on create video, and then we are going to start executing this workflow. It's going to start running off. I'm going to let it go all the way through. We'll walk through the polling system and then I'm going to show you guys the video and then we'll be good to go. Not sure why this took 5 different polls. It was a 10-second video. Maybe I've been calling the API a little bit too much. But I just want to show you guys quickly what's happening on each of these passes. On every single pass, we're getting a status that says pending, and then it's sending it back to this wait node. That's getting a pending status. It's sending it back to here, and then we're waiting for a URL to come back. So right here, you see status is pending, and then once it gets an actual payload, we get to send it off, download the video, save it to our Google Drive, and update our Google Sheet. So now that we have that, let's go check out this video. I'm not gonna lie, that's the best video I've seen this thing make. I thought I was in the beginning of like a Fast 5 movie. But nonetheless, super cool system. You guys can build this yourselves. You guys already built it if you've made it this far in the video. You can play around with it, switch up the prompts. I just think this is really cool, and I think Grok is really giving Sora a run for their money. As always, if you've gotten any value from this video, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below on what team you're on. Are you Team Sora or are you Team Grok? I look forward to seeing you guys' responses, and I look forward to playing around with Grok a little bit more. I think there's a ton of opportunity here, but regardless, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, if you're still there, something I like to do at the end of all my videos is pray for you guys, my audience, just because I love you guys, and I know that sometimes it might feel like you're alone in this world, but trust me or not, there's always someone there to help you and to support you and to be with you. And I just want you guys to know that Jesus is for everybody, but I'm going to go ahead and pray and then send you guys off. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the person on the other side of the screen that took time out of their day to watch this guy's video. Lord, I just want to pray a blessing over the people on the other side of the screen. I want to pray for wisdom and strength for them to get through the days of this crazy world that we live in, Lord. Help us serve each other. Help us love each other, Lord, just like you love the church. And Lord, I just continue to ask for guidance in my life and guidance in their life, and know that we can come to you as we are, and you'll meet us in our weakness. Lord, be with us today. Be with us for the rest of our days. And we pray all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Now go have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.